Hi guys, my name is Yash. I'm a ECBA certified business analyst, currently working as a BDM, planning to transition to a BA role. So enough about my personal information. I would now start with my hospitality data analytics project. In this project, I'll be using Python, Pandas, and Jupyter Notebook to analyze hotel booking data and convert it into meaningful business insights. So the objective is not just to work with Python, but to understand how data can help management improve revenue, occupancy, and overall hotel performance. Moving on to the next slide. So you see Atlic Grand operates multiple hotel properties across major Indian cities. But the company is facing increasing competition in the hospitality market. Management therefore wants better visibility into areas such as revenue, occupancy, cancellations, booking channels, and property performance. The key business question is how can historical booking data help the company identify performance gaps and make better decisions? Now, you may ask where this data come from. Now, you see hotel bookings can originate from multiple sources, such as online travel platforms, the hotel's own website, direct online bookings, or offline reservations. Every time a customer books, cancels, or complete a stay, a transaction is generated and stored in company's booking system. Moving on to the next slide is how operation data becomes analytical data. So this brings us to three important concepts, that's OLTP, OLAP, and ETL. So the operation booking system is an OLTP system which handles everyday transactions such as bookings and cancellations. Though the ETL process, relevant data is extracted, transformed, and loaded into an analytical environment. That data can then be support that data can then support OLAP, where instead of processing individual transactions, we analyze historical information to understand business performance. So, simply put, OLTP helps run the business, while OLAP help understands the business. Help understand the business. I'm sorry for the blabber in between. It's just that I'm a little bit thirsty. So, yeah, I hope you understand what is OLTP, OLAP, and ETL. So, remember that OLTP helps run the business, while OLAP helps understand the business, and ETL is extract, transform, load process, which is normal in data analysis. Okay, so moving on to the fifth slide. It's from raw transaction to business insights. Now, looking at the complete flow, booking data first comes from different channels and enters the operational database. Through ETL, the data can be prepared for analytical use. From there, analysts can use tools such as Power BI or Python to investigate the data. For this project, I'll primarily be using Python and Pandas into Jupyter Notebook to perform the analysis. So, yep, I hope you understand. Moving on to the next slide. Now for this analysis, we have multiple CSV files. The dimension dataset provides information about date, hotels, and room categories, while the fact dataset contains actual booking, activity, including individual bookings, revenue booking status, successful booking, and hotel capacity. So we also have additional or guest data that can later be incorporated into the analysis. Moving on to revenue generated versus revenue realized. So one important concept in this data set is difference between revenue generated and revenue realized. Now you see revenue generated represents the original value associated with the booking, whereas revenue realized represents what a hotel ultimately retains. For a completed stay, they may be same, but when a booking is cancelled, part of amount may be refunded and only a portion retained by the hotel. This difference helps us understand the actual financial impact of the booking outcomes. So why do we organize data? You may think. So another important concept is data normalization. Imagine storing the hotel's name, city, category, and other details repeatedly for thousands of bookings. That creates unnecessary duplication. Instead, we can store that information once, assign the hotel a unique property ID, and that ID inside the booking records. Basically, use that ID inside the booking records. This makes the data more structured, consistent, and easier to maintain. Moving on to fact and dimension table. Now, this leads us to fact and dimension tables. A fact table records measurable business events. In our case, a hotel booking is an event along with measures such as revenue. A dimension table provides additional context, for example, which hotel it was, which room category was booked, or when the booking occurred. A simple way to remember this is facts tell us what happened. Dimension helps us understand the context around what happened. Moving on to star schema and snowflake schema. So you see star schema is like when a central fact table connects directly with multiple dimension table. The structure resembles a star. That's why it's called a star schema. In snowflake schema, some of those dimensions are further separated into additional related dimension tables. So for analytics, star schemas are generally simpler to understand and query, while snowflake schema provide a more normalized structure too. From business problem to business insights, this is like an analytical roadmap. Now that we understand the business context and the data structure, we can move into actual analytical workflow. We'll begin by exploring the data, then identifying clean data quality issues, perform the necessary transformations, and finally analyze the information. The most important stage comes at the end, turning our data analysis into meaningful business insights and recommendation. So far, I think we have understood the business problem, where our data comes from, how the data set are structured, and some of the key data modeling concepts behind them. Now, it's time to move from theory to practical analysis. From this point onwards, I'll be working directly inside Jupyter Notebook using Python and Pandas, starting with data exploration and understanding data sets in more detail. So yeah, let's get started. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you learned I hope you at least understood the problem statement.